Today I'm going to tell you the secret to making money on gold and silver. It's a really, really big one, and it's one that people just ignore all the time. What is it? Well, it's incredibly simple. It's Hello everybody, Backyard Bullion here, and a very warm welcome to you all joining me for another precious metal ramble. Do you want to make money on gold and silver? Follow these 10 easy steps. Sorry, I can't do it. I can't do it. I sound too much like one of those ridiculous get-rich-quick scheme people. Gold and silver are not get-rich-quick schemes. There is only really one rule to make money on gold and silver. You buy low and you sell high. Now, there are a lot of different ways that you can do that, and there's also a lot of different barriers that will restrict how easy that is along the way. So in today's video, I want to run through some of my experiences as an investor of precious metals. I've been a buyer since 2015, and some of my coins are making beautiful sums of money, although they're not technically because I haven't sold them, but a £1,000 coin bought in 2017 now worth at least 17, maybe 1650, something like that, let's call it. You can see I'm making money on my gold and silver. Now I'm going to share some of my own personal thoughts and insights. They are not formal advice, financial advice, etc., etc. You need to make your own decisions and ask the questions that inform your own decision making. That's one of the biggest tips that I think I can give on this subject is learn about this stuff. Learn from others, learn from people that perhaps you don't agree with. And I know there will be a lot of people that don't agree with a lot of the opinions that I have on precious metals, like buying and selling and not keeping it for an eternity for that world collapsing event that will never happen. But those kind of discourses, those kind of counter arguments are really good to help form your own decision making and form your own opinions on various subjects. So whilst I don't agree that the world is going to end and we're all going to be needing to use silver as a barter exchange tool, it does make me look at the market and think about all of the different opinions out there and how that forms my own. So talking of different opinions, please share yours down in the comment section. That's one of the reasons I make these kind of videos, so that we can all learn from one another, but do so respectfully even if you disagree with my opinion. Also, don't forget to like and subscribe along the way as well. I always forget that. It would be great if you can. So let's dive in. Buy low, sell high. That is the golden rule, no pun intended, for making money on anything, quite frankly, whether it's an investment or whether it's just a lucky happenstance of something that you've bought along the way that has appreciated well in price. Now, one of the ways that you can do that is by, certainly with gold and silver, and we're talking about gold and silver predominantly here, is to buy it and just hold it and just forget about it. I bought this coin back in 2017. I remember vaguely the silver and gold prices at that time. Gold was around about 950 an ounce, pounds, that is 950 pounds an ounce. And I remember at the time going, it's a lot of money to put into one coin, but you know, I did, and I bought some coins and I just left them. I've just stacked them. I've just enjoyed them. And if I need to sell them to raise funds for whatever it might be within my life, I have the opportunity to do that, and it will be at a profit. So you can see, bought in 2017, November 2017, for £1,015 from good old Atkinson's, who some of you might recognise this little mini tube from, and your 10 cheap Britannias. We'll talk about cheapness and premiums in a moment, but the point is, I left it for a long time. Gold will go up in price. Now, unfortunately, similar things cannot necessarily be said for silver. There are some changes that have happened for silver over the years in terms of price points, but an example would be perhaps something like this coin here, which is a 2018 10-ounce Valiant. Very, very nice. I remember buying these from the European Mint, of all places, back in 2000 and I think it was 2018, 2019. Well, it must have been 2018 coin, and I was paying about £150 a coin, so £15 an ounce delivered for these coins. Really, really good price. Right now, of course, you look at silver's price, and silver's spot price is £18 an ounce. If I sell this to a dealer right now, I get £180 back on it. A little bit of profit, but it's not a lot. Certainly not anywhere near the realms of the profit margins that we're talking about on the gold coins. However, there is a premium, and premium is where we're going to focus a fair amount on this video. As I said, you buy low and you sell high. So buying low, as I did for this in 2018 when spot price was a bit lower, when you could get silver at an advantaged rate relative to the taxation that UK dealers had to do, you now look at the market for this and you think, well, yeah, you could sell it for £180 to a dealer, or what's the going rate right now for this particular coin, because it's older and desirable and people like this, and also just the general market rate. You know, there is a premium attached to some of these things that the dealers will take advantage of, in that sense that they won't take advantage of you necessarily. They're offering, you know, they're offering spot price. Some are offering even more than spot price for things like Silver Britannias. But they will then take this and they'll put it out to market, to the general public, at a higher price than spot price. So that market rate, it's a bit of a sort of misnomer, really, thinking that spot price is the value of your silver. You should look about what the prices are achievable, or what achievable prices, I should say, sorry, are actually out there on second-hand markets. And that's where you've got this swing of buy low, sell high. You can make money on silver right now, today. These 10 Britannias are a prime example of that. Atkinson's, who are not sponsoring this video, but did sponsor our channel, so I want to give them a shout out because it was incredibly successful when we launched this little deal over the weekend. And if you've missed it, well, you need to subscribe to my channel to find out when these next deals are going to be going out, because hopefully there'll be more. Atkinson's sold more than they were going to expect. It was overwhelming. They had to end the offer earlier this week, which is incredible. They had originally talked about keeping it open all week and seeing what the sort of measure of success was of having it sort of mentioned here on my channel. And come Monday afternoon, you know, they quickly realised they needed to close that offer down. Now, yes, there's some silly conspiracy, start that again. Silly conspiracy theorists out there thinking, oh, Atkinson's are just trying to shift some dead stock because nobody wants to buy silver at the moment. I'm not going to comment on the reasons why various different dealers have various different promotions, but let's just remember, this was a limited time offer promotion. It wasn't setting new boundaries and new norms. That said, it does, I think, have an interesting impact on some of the premiums that I'm seeing on the second-hand market for silver and gold. So right now, on the Silver Forum, I've seen some people listing silver at £21.50 an ounce. Silver coins, that is. I've seen people listing silver bars for less in the past, and you know, there are people who will want to have bars, but quite frankly, bars, whilst lovely, they're not as advantaged as silver. You have to find one singular buyer for a big old chunky bar like this, and it's not capital gains exempt, unlike Britannia's. So getting coins at cheap prices is a really great thing, and we come back to the main point here: is buy low, sell high. Now, if you're buying low, you're probably not going to be buying low in silver from a dealer, because in the United Kingdom, we have to pay tax on it. And unless you have one of these deals where the dealers are offering silver at spot plus the 20% VAT, which at the time worked out at £21.70 a coin, that's an incredible opportunity to have a more realistic swing on your silver investment. The biggest problem I've always had with silver is you have to work for it. You have to work for it compared with gold. So we go back to the example of this particular coin, let's say, that I bought back in 2018. Bought for £150, and as I said, spot price right now, maybe I get 180 for it. If I took this to the open market, to my buyers club, for example, or if I just listed it for sale as an auction up on eBay, I would expect this coin to get very least £220, £22 an ounce for it, if not a touch more. You can't get these particularly easily. They are very, very nice and cool coins from, in my opinion, a bit of a heyday at the Royal Mint, when the Royal Mint were actually producing things that were really quite good, as opposed to now where it's all a bunch of garbage. But the point is that there is a market rate for these which is above the value of the silver in them. And you've got to find that. You've got to put work in for it. You've got to have that energy, that drive, that reputation to do it, to sell at those prices to various members of the public. You can't just expect somebody to willy-nilly go and buy from Joe Blogs with no feedback, no history of selling anything at all on Facebook or Bookface, whatever it's called. I just think you have to work very hard to get to that point. And that's one of the things I've always done here on my channel. It's one of the reasons why last year alone we were able to sell over £800,000 worth of other people's gold and silver and help them liquidate all of their assets that they wanted to liquidate to get more in their pocket than they would if they go to a dealer. And people were sending me this gold and silver ahead of any payments for me to then list on their behalf and sell on their behalf, and I was able to do that. Nobody who's just starting now would have the reputation, the clout, the sort of trustworthiness to have that volume of silver and gold sent to them without payment. It's just not going to happen. You have to put a lot of work into that kind of thing. You know, and I talk about like, putting a lot of work into it. I had a few snarky comments about being sponsored by a UK bullion dealer going, oh, it must be nice to be sent 10 ounces of silver by a bullion dealer. It is nice, actually. Do you know what? It's lovely to have 10 ounces of silver sent to me for free, but let's not forget that I've been working very hard on my brand, on channel, on everything that we've been doing here on YouTube for, gosh, it's 8 years this year, actually, 7.5 years already. And, you know, we've grown a reputation, we've grown a business, we've grown a brand, and it's nice to be recognized. It's nice to be sponsored. It's nice for a company to come and approach me and say, hey, we want to work with you because we are impressed with what we see. Let's not forget that. So yeah, it is nice to be sent things for free, and it's wonderful to have that as an achievement in my business career. But let's not forget, it's basically like being paid for the job that I've been doing for free for these last number of years here on YouTube and the like. So anyway, those people don't necessarily understand business. And that's part of the things that I think you need to understand if you're going to get into physical gold and silver. You're essentially going to be a little mini business. You're going to have to think about buying low, selling high, how you're going to exit, how you're going to sell, all of the risks that come involved with selling. You're going to be sending things out in the post, registered, special delivery, the costs on that. Packaging, how are you going to package it correctly? What terms are you going to offer for people if they think that something is fake or wrong or not right? Or what if it doesn't arrive? So many different questions that you've got to think about. All of that feeds into the buy low, sell high. If you want to make money on gold and silver in this modern world right now, I think there is certainly there's two approaches. There's the put it in a safe and just forget about it for 20 years, come back to it at another time, and I'm sure that you'll be fine. I'm sure that you'll make a little bit of money on some of these. You might make more on other bits. From my experience, I would say it's easier to make more on gold over a longer period. However, if in the shorter term you want to make money on gold and silver, then buying low and selling higher is just the way it works. You have no other recourse than to do that, than to sit there and wait for the world to end and an apocalyptic scenario to bring a silver shooting the moon scenario. One thing I've always hated about the silver shooting the moon scenario is that it would essentially spell the end of sort of Western society if we had a financial collapse. If the pound and dollar completely disappeared or were so poor that they had thousands of pounds for just an ounce of silver, nobody's going to be able to A, afford to buy your silver, and B, want to buy your silver, in my opinion. They'll much rather have things like food and medicine and housing and shelter and energy to keep themselves warm, not to have just a silver coin like this to make them feel better about themselves for having some wealth in their life. So silver is not really an apocalyptic solution. It's just something that people say to sell your coins, unfortunately. And it's something that fear works very well on, and the emotions that come involved with that is very evident. And I've done videos on this before. In fact, one of my most popular videos, to my eternal shame, I got the pronunciation of the currency completely wrong in my Venezuela video. It's got like 350,000 views on it. I call it what did I call the Bolivia, the currency in there, but of course it's the Bolivar. But if your currency disappears, you're going to be in a lot more trouble than you would be if you had, you know, actual currency that didn't. So I'm losing my train of thought a little bit. My point here is that you can make money in gold and silver. You can invest, you can protect wealth with gold and silver, but it's not something that you should take lightly. It's not something you should take for granted. You have to put some work into it. You're gonna have to research things, learn things, watch people that have different and contrary views to you. I know that there's so many people out there that do. I put sometimes the only, I don't say the only, there are others that do it as well, but because of the size of my channel, sometimes it feels like within the reach of what I have, that there are very few channels that put out a contrarian view that is not doom and gloom and world ending and silver is the savior of all that we behold. So, you know, there is merit in finding other people, as I've said, that have differing opinions to you, learn from them, see how things develop for your own opinion making, and make your own decisions that are right for you in your own financial circumstances. There is no other better advice than that. I can sit here and say, buy low, sell high, and it's the easiest thing you can possibly do. And in practice, it's quite difficult, and you have to put a lot of work and energy into it. But if you put that work and energy in, you're going to be paid at the other end with dividend. Let me tell you, it is going to be very, very beneficial. And I've seen a lot of people who've come to sell gold and silver through our buyers club. In fact, we've had quite a lot of people last year that used to buy gold and silver the same time I did from the European Mint, and they've now come out and they've sold and they've made a really tidy profit. And it's really nice to see that we had a part to play in that whole life cycle of people buying low, selling high, or at least selling higher than perhaps they would have done with a dealer. So yeah, anyway, the point is you can do it. Silver is worse and harder in many ways from my experience, but you've got to find a kind of, got to find a thing that makes it work for you. You've got to find what gets your juices going, whether it's running a business for silver, or whether it's, trying to engage with the community more, or whether it's creating content like this. And it can be anything, and it takes so many different shapes and forms. So anyway, that is it from me. Thank you one and all for watching. I have done, what, a 16-minute ramble. This is a good one. So thank you to the ramblers for watching to the back end of my video. I do appreciate all of your support, and especially to the Cool Kids Club members who are, as we all know, super extra special cool. We'll see you on the next video. Thank you all for watching, and as always, please make sure that you like, share, comment, and subscribe for more.